Party time, Mom. Welcome to another episode of the Chad Prather Show, Mothership Studio 22, the most comfortable, relaxed place on the planet for a Monday evening. Everybody just laid back, laid out. I'm not even wearing socks. Haven't worn socks in 3 weeks. Don't plan on wearing socks for a long time. Lisa Page. Lisa Page made me do it.
Hello.
How is your show going, your podcast?
My podcast is on hiatus.
Is it? Because your studio room flooded.
Yep.
And you're getting carpet in there.
Yep. I mean, it's going to look bomb when it's done, but y'all need to give me just a little bit. But I'll have a lot of content when I come back. So getting the engineer out there in the next couple weeks because, you know, now we're going to stay on the second floor because we can't find any rentals. And then I'm just going to have to just make do with what I got.
Yeah.
I mean, I have not gone away forever.
Yeah.
We'll be back on the charts.
You're on hiatus.
Just for a couple weeks, yeah.
Lisa Page made me do it. Hey, if you're just tuning in at the Chad Prather Show for the first time, we're at Studio 22, and what I need you to do is head on over to, just sight unseen, head over to where podcasts are offered, and leave us a 5-star rating. We'll only accept 5 stars and a good review. Just go over there and do it. You don't even have to watch the rest of the show. Just head on over there.
This is all you need to rate for 5 stars.
That's like I'm just here to hoe myself out. And if I need to, I'll use the hard R. I will whore myself out. Horror.
Yeah.
Yeah. Candace, the queen of the Ethiopians, and the puppet master Mark are flying us deep into the nether regions of all things insanity. I feel like we are just, look how dark the beard is on screen. Look
Looks
at that.
good.
No, that's,
now.
they colored it too much.
You look like a real cowboy with that dark beard.
I don't know about that. I went into makeup. She said, hey, I got this new stuff I want to try. And she scrubbed it on.
No, it looks good.
Oh, girl,
I'm
please.
serious.
I kind of feel like I'm hiding a lot of gray. That's what I feel like.
Welcome to our world. That's why we color our hair every 6 weeks.
Yeah, I understand. But anyway, you're flying us into the nether regions of all things Beavis and Butthead. That's what I feel like when I'm listening to the news at this point. I just want to laugh. Unheard of record number of people are flooding our southern borders. And people had the audacity to tell me over the weekend on social media, there's no problem at all. But the news media seems to think otherwise. And you know whose fault it is? Donald Trump's.
Oh, yeah.
They've all said it's this problem at the border is Donald Trump's. He did not stop the flow.
And nothing about the wall not being complete.
You can't make this stuff
It's fine. He'll always be blamed for everything.
Yeah, it's Donald Trump's fault. He wasn't hard enough on these people. The cages weren't confined enough.
They weren't locked hard enough.
Now they got welcome centers. Oh,
Did you see the welcome center? It's like a homeless shelter site. It's not a welcome center. It's like, hey, come on in and good luck finding a sheet to wrap yourself in.
I read an article yesterday that said now what they're considering doing is moving the illegals. And yes, they're illegals. Moving them to Silicon Valley. The most expensive place in America.
Good. Let California get a piece of that.
They're going to take them to Silicon Valley. You can't make this crap up anymore. This is insane. It's a Beavis and Butthead world we're living in. That's kind of what I feel like at this stage.
Yeah.
And just hearing this news. Because none of it makes any sense.
No.
It's stupid.
It's comedy.
Stoopid. Stupid. I'm a genius. A Genius. Listen. We're going to get into some of these things today. We're going to talk about who could potentially be the next president of the United States. Listen, Lisa, hard prediction here. Who's going to be the next president of the United States? I'm going to tell you who has a very good chance.
Okay.
We're going to talk about crazy moms. Y'all have a bunch of those where you live.
I'm not a crazy mom, but yes.
Well, not yet. Your kids aren't old enough.
Oh, you're saying older, like 16, 17?
Yeah, wait till they become teenagers.
I don't want to think about it.
And they start competing in things. We're going to talk about this border issue. We're going to discuss this Texas gubernatorial race that's going on. I can't wait to discuss it either. I love seeing myself in the news and the things that people say about this wannabe comedian who is now making a show of running for governor in Texas and all the nightmare that is. It's interesting out there, Lisa. This is a scary world that our kids are growing up in.
No doubt.
Mark, Candace, don't do it. Don't do it.
Stick with your dog.
Don't bring children into this world. It's insane. No, we have to. We have to. You got to bring kids in. You got to raise kids right. You got to teach them right, because the only way we're ever going to take over is grassroots. Grassroots.
Right.
You got to grow them up. You got to grow them up. True change doesn't start from the top down. It starts from the bottom up. That is a word of wisdom right there.
Preach it.
From a man
Preach
with
it.
a very dark beard. Look at that. I feel like Steve Powell right now. Now I just want to run my fingers through my hair.
Yeah, make sure everybody knows.
It's
You don't have
not
a mullet.
y'all.
Not a mullet.
It's not a mullet,
Not
guys.
a mullet.
It's not a mullet. If you ever notice, go back, anytime anybody mentions hair, Steve takes his hat off.
got it, yeah.
He has to run his fingers through it. And if you'll notice, he likes to wear that hat, his little ball cap, so that little tuft of hair sticks out right there. So he lets you know. Yeah. He lets you know there's hair in there.
Has he ever done a show without the hat?
Yeah.
Not since I've been here, though, I don't think.
Yeah, I think he did one recently, actually. Well, let's get into it. You never thought COVID was going to cost you your home, but it might, because cybercrime since the pandemic started is up 75%. And the most serious cybercrime to worry about is home title theft. Cyber criminals, foreign and domestic, they're here and they're there, and they're all over. They are now after your homes, and it's easier than you think for them to get your home. The title documents to your homes are online right now. Thief finds your home's title and forges your signature on a quitclaim deed stating you sold your home to him, and then he takes out loans on your home and leaves you in debt. You don't even know that it's happening until the late payments or eviction notices start showing up, and insurance won't cover you. Common identity theft programs, they're not going to cover you. That's why you got to protect your home with Home Title Lock. The instant Home Title Lock detects someone tampering with your home's title, they're going to shut that down. I want you to go to HometitleLock.com, register your address right now to see if you're already a victim. Use code RADIO to receive 30 free days of protection. Code RADIO at Home Title Lock. We'll be right back. Let's do a gubernatorial update. I don't know if you guys understand how much goes into trying to run for office, especially if you're not a politician. Like if you're a newbie like me, who's just trying to make a difference and make a stand and do something for the world they live in. People will hate you for it. They will hate you for it. Just for going in there and saying, you know what? I don't want to do this the way the system does it. I don't want to do things the way these lifelong career politicians do things. I don't want to be a part of that political cult. You know what I mean? And the deeper you get into it, you realize that politics is such a swampy cesspool. I mean, Donald Trump nailed it when he called D.C. the swamp. And you have these people who sit on it like a throne, like they got that golden goose, right? And they just hold on to that sucker by the neck, and they're just not letting those eggs out to the commoners like us. And you go in there and you're like, okay, here's what I want to do. I just want to tell people that I want to make a difference. I want to do something. I want to put my money where my mouth is. I want to use my platform and do something positive, right? And go out there and risk it. People are like, well, you got to do it this way, and you got to do it that way, and you got to dot this I and cross that T. And it's like, well, that's not productive. They're like, oh, no, but you got to do that in order to get out there and make a difference, to play the game. You got to play the political game. I say to hell with the political game.
Yeah.
To hell with it.
Well, that's why you're running.
That's right.
Because you're not like everybody else.
They're like, well, it's going to take you a minimum of $30 million to even be serious in this thing. And I'm like, you know what? For what? To run a $7 million ad campaign in the state on television? I'm on television right now.
That's how we're saving money. We don't need the ads.
I'm on television right now telling you that I want to put Texas first. There you go. It's that simple.
We have an hour ad every night, and you can rewatch it on the Blaze and YouTube. There's
over
your
and over
ads.
and over again. You can go to you're like, well, I would like to know what you stand for. Holy shit. Go to politicalcowboy.com, where we post at least 7 articles a day.
Yeah.
Go there. Go to Prather2022.com. I've got a whole list of issues that are on there. Come to one of my shows. Come hang out with me. Watch this show, for crying out loud. Read my tweets. Read my Facebook posts. Well, we don't know what you stand for. Baloney. If the trolls out there that come at me bitching and complaining know what I stand for, then the people that support me surely ought to know.
You're more accessible to everybody.
Yeah.
By doing what you're doing now.
I guarantee you I'm in front of people more than Joe freaking Biden.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. Oh, yeah. Are you
Joe
serious?
Biden hadn't been on TV one time in 50 days, and he did it for 21 minutes and didn't take any questions. I'm out here every day engaging people on social media. And so people are like, well, you got to have at least $7 million to run one ad campaign on television in the state of Texas. Yeah, we're really going to piss away people's money? Just piss away people's money for what? A commercial? So at the end of it, I could say, look at me, I'm such a happy Texan that I believe that we got to keep your power and water on and save you money and lower your taxes and keep everybody happy and protect people's lives and give you some guns to go shoot people. And then this endorsement was paid for by Chad Prather for governor, 2022. My name's Chad Prather and I endorse this.
I approve this message.
Horse crap.
No.
That's what's stupid. Well, we got to put signs in everybody's yards. Then what you do is you go down to the printer and you get you a sign made that says, I support Chad, and you stick it in your yard.
Or even better, get a freaking T-shirt and wear it.
Get a T-shirt. We got them out there.
Yeah.
Get it. Make your donation to Chad Prather for Governor 2022.
That's how we raise money, guys.
That's what we do. And you know what? I got people out there that are like, I mean, are we going to do stuff like that? Are we going to put signs out there? Yeah, we're going to do stuff like that. But people are like, well, we got to get this going. We got to get this going. It's like, my gosh, I've had it going since July of last year. We've been talking about this.
Where have you been?
Where are you going to? Well, right now I'm spending money to hire a friggin' ethics attorney because everybody's pissed off saying, well, you can't be doing this or that and this or that. Well, you can't talk about the issues. Can't talk about the issues. You know why? Because right now they put a muzzle on you. And let me tell you, they're already telling me, they're like, man, you better hire security because these powers that are out here, like, boy, the Texas GOP, they're hard asses, man. They're going to come after you. They're entrenched. They're blah, blah. They name this person, they name that person, and all these people, they're going to come get me. And I'm like, let them come. I got an AR-15 sitting on my dining room table.
You don't need security. You carry.
My God.
Back off.
Don't make me turn around and show you what I'm sitting on.
Oh, shoot. That beard's turning red now. Red like fire.
Let me tell you, I'm so sick of the cult. Sick of the cult, Lisa. That's what's going on. Then they're like, oh, you got some competition with Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, my God.
No, I got competition with Greg friggin' Abbott that's got $80 million in a war chest somewhere. I mean, the dude is sitting in the seat right now.
But Abbott's not out here every single day like you are all the time.
No, he's doing whatever Ron DeSantis did a week ago.
Right.
That's my campaign pledge right there. Let's lead and not follow Florida. How about that? Let Texas be Texas and Florida be Florida. God bless you, Ron DeSantis, but I don't want to do what you do 10 days later. It's like watching Back to the Future.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's be Texas again. We're bigger than Germany. We're bigger than France. We're bigger than the UK.
That's a good tagline. Chad Prather, 22. Let's be Texas again.
Let's be Texas again because Texas ain't the Texas that most Texans think it is. Paid for by Chad Prather 2022.
Well, it sounds really good.
And Blaze Media. I'm Chad Prather and I approve this message. Love y'all. God bless. And here's a Governor Poke.
Governor Poke. That's a Facebook reference, isn't it?
Yeah,
a little poke.
It is. It's Governor Poke.
Well, you're lucky because they are, I'm sure, lining up to start canceling everything that you say because we're in the middle of it. Like, I would not want to be you running this campaign right now because even last year, cancel culture hadn't really emerged.
Right.
Where now we are in the thick of it. You've got freaking Chris Harrison from The Bachelorette, apologizing for nothing. He did nothing.
Yeah. And
you're in the middle, throwing yourself in the middle of all this.
Listen, I've been an apologist for what's his name, Andrew Cuomo. I've been an apologist for him over the sexual harassment thing because that's a joke. First of all, he might be creepy, but the stuff they're accusing him of, that's not sexual harassment.
Right.
That's not an accusation of sexual harassment. They're just trying to cover up all the nursing home deaths.
Right, exactly.
And they know that there's going to be a ton of people that fall if that really comes to light, not just Andrew Cuomo. So they got to just get him out by isolating the sexual harassment thing. Murder, not that big of a deal, but cupping a woman's face, major issue.
Yeah.
Right there.
A pat on the back. That is sexual harassment.
Murdering the elderly, that's a pass. They were headed out anyway. They had a foot in the grave and were looking at the light. But
not to mention these women are coming out 5 years later.
But to tell a girl to eat the entire sausage at a sausage festival or to hold her in her lower back while giving her a hug that lasted 2 seconds too long made her uncomfortable. That's the kind of stuff. So I'm sitting here going, you're right, because the cancel culture, all this stuff, they're just reaching. They reach. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You going to come after me with that kind of stuff? I'm already guilty.
Yeah.
Guilty.
Find something else to accuse me of.
Said it all. Been there, done that. Been there and done it. Skeletons are out.
Yeah, no, you're definitely
more to come.
Oh, just stay tuned. If I haven't offended you now, you just wait.
Yeah, but no, my entire point in ranting about this is playing playing the political game by their rules. That's the problem. That's why they hated Donald Trump. He refused to play by their rules. I refuse to play by their rules. And I see these political consultants. I sit down with them and talk to them, and they want to tell me all these things. Well, you're not doing this right. According to whose rules?
Yeah, right.
According to whose rules? Bottom line, I want to make Texas number one, okay? Matthew McConaughey, all right. He's a fine enough guy, I guess. I don't know. But I do know, does he believe in the sanctity of life? I do. I don't know where he stands on those things. I know he said that the two sides on this gun issue need to come together. No, they don't. Shall not be infringed. There, we came together. Period. That's the end. My policy on gun control is this. Can you afford it? Can you afford to buy that gun? Then you can have it. There you go. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying?
It's not that hard.
Pass your background check, and if you can afford it, you can have it. That's simple.
And with the way the world is now, you need the gun. With the way the world is going, you need your gun.
And let's talk about that for a few minutes. Portland courthouse, they've turned that back into a fortress because the riots are happening again in Portland. A lot of the stuff is happening because of the George Floyd trial, and they're picking the jury for the Derek Chauvin, supposedly third-degree murder charge against him. I don't know if they ever moved it to third degree. It was second degree, and they were trying to do third degree. But so that's happening. Portland always protesting there. That's a fortress. They've put the non-scalable fencing that's been reinstalled. Non-scalable fencing, and that's what people told me over the weekend. Because I said, you got to build that border wall. Yeah. In Texas, got to finish the border wall. You got to do that to the places where we can build a wall. That we need to have a wall. And then people, if they want to migrate to this country, do it legally. I support that. Illegal? No. But to say something's non-scalable, people kept coming to me saying, they're getting over Trump's wall anyway. They can climb that thing. Apparently, Hispanics have magical powers. Candice, can you verify this? Do we know? Magical powers? Like fairy elf kind of.
Spider-Man. I'll look into it. I'll do some research.
Yeah, see if they got like one of those winged horses or burros.
Okay.
Sort of a Pegasus.
One with wings, maybe?
Yeah. Maybe they have magical wings themselves. New York legislature, $7 billion in new taxes on the wealthy. Great time to be living in New York, man. A great time. $7 billion in new taxes on the wealthy. Don't get wealthy in the state of New York, man. Graduated tax hike on millionaires. Current income tax rate for single filers making more than $1 million and couples earning more than $2 million is 8.82%. The rate would rise to almost 12%. Yeah. 2 new brackets, one for taxpayers between $5 million and $25 million, and for those making more than $25 million, they're going to get almost 11 and a 12% respectively tax rate. Yeah, man, I tell you what, that's not where I want to be rich. But here's what I want to talk about before we go to a break. This woman, this is real news. This lady in Pennsylvania. We've talked about it on this show, the thing called deep fakes, where they can put your image, your face, and your voice on video and photo. It's more than just Photoshop. I mean, they actually impose you on there, can make you say anything you want to do. This mom created deep fake nudes of her daughter's cheerleading rivals to get them kicked off the team or get them to commit suicide. This is the kind of craziness that's out there. This mom, see, now I told you, crazy moms. Lisa, I want you to keep your head about you when your kids become teenagers, okay? Yeah?
I don't even know how to uninstall an app on my phone, so don't worry about it.
Listen, I've been hit with fakes. I've been hit with fake text messages. I've been hit with images, all this kind of stuff. People come at me with this kind of stuff.
And you have psychos following you. I've seen those accounts.
And people are like, well, I mean, they've arrested this woman, but the damage is done.
Yeah, it's already been done.
The damage is done. And there's a whole lot of stuff.
Wow.
There's a whole lot of stuff going on. And
Chalfont, that wasn't even far from where we used to live either. She's on that main line.
Investigators determined the photos and videos were deep fakes created by using photos from the girls' social media profiles and overlaying them with different images to make them look authentic. Police traced the phone numbers back to the website specializing in selling phone numbers to telemarketers. Investigators subpoenaed information. Take it back to the IP address. You can't get away with this stuff, first of all.
Yeah.
But the damage is done.
Yeah, she's already...
I mean, what if one of these poor girls had killed themselves?
Could you imagine?
Cyber harassment, cyber bullying, whatever.
Oh, then that lady should have been charged on murder.
I mean, that would have been a bad deal.
Dude.
And one last thing, presidential prediction. I mentioned this in the intro. You know who the next president of the United States is going to be? if Joe Biden lives through these next 4 years.
Which won't happen, but okay. You mean...
I got a bombshell for you. And I'm going to do it after the break. Okay?
I knew that was coming.
In 2020, over 8 million guns were sold. Hallelujah! That, combined with efforts to defund the police and rising crime, has driven the cost of ammo through the roof. Many Americans have stopped training with their firearms altogether because it's just too expensive. And by the way, Lisa, I went out in the field and shot a bunch of stuff.
Well, that's what I want my governor to do.
Over the weekend.
Just shooting all the time.
And let me tell you, I was nailing some yardage at 225 with my AR, just ping, ping, little tiny targets. Oh, we were ripping it up. But let me tell you, you know why I can hit stuff? And I mean consistently? iTarget Pro. iTarget was invented to give law-abiding citizens a cost-effective way to train and safely in the privacy of their own home. No more inconvenient trips to the range or expensive practice ammunition. Download iTarget's proprietary app and load the laser bullet into your firearm and start your training experience. Dry fire training is going to help develop muscle memory, sharpen target reaction speed, sight alignment, trigger function, and a whole lot more. iTarget Pro comes in all the major calibers, including .223 for your AR, so you can stay sharp with almost any firearm. Today, you can save 10% plus get free shipping with offer code CHAD. I spell it Chad at checkout. When you go to itargetpro.com. Smartest way for you to practice, and it pays for itself in a day. That's the letter I, targetpro.com. Use offer code Chad. Go there today. Be right back. So last night was the Grammys, apparently. I didn't know.
I don't care about that.
I never know when these award shows
They're all
come,
Zoom. Who cares?
Right? So I don't ever know. And apparently Bill Burr was on there. I don't know if he was the host or whatever, but they kept talking about it was wrong and racist for there to be a cisgendered white male hosting the show. And as we know, or should know, Bill Burr, who's a very funny comedian, very outspoken, very plain-spoken, love the guy, is married to a black woman. Okay? So this tweet, while I'm not suggesting Bill Burr is a racist, a white man having a non-white wife can sometimes be a sign, wait for it, of racism. So you shouldn't assume someone isn't racist just because they own a minority sex servant. They may very well have one because they're racists.
Oh, like so Bill has his wife as like his slave? Is that what he's trying?
Yeah.
Who tweeted this?
A moron. A garbage human being tweeted that, is who it was. At Claiborne Griffin. Yeah.
That gives him
I mean, his name is Claiborne. What does that tell you?
We haven't introduced you yet, Steve. You be quiet. Look who made it into the room. Party Foul Steve holding down the pub, fresh in from Nashville, right off the plane.
Right off the plane.
Right off the plane. Our friend Zuby said, "Well done. Worst tweet ever, and the competition is tough. You won. You can delete your account now." Ian Miles Chong, our friend, said, "Dude, you suck. People in interracial relationships struggle enough with ignorant perceptions without you adding to it." Bridget Fedesi, our friend who's been on the show, she said, "Stop projecting, bro." And somebody responded and said, "That ain't no bro. That's a garbage human." I agree.
He gets a free pass for telling black jokes, though, right?
I guess
that comes with the...
I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you absolutely yourself? That says more about you than it does Bill. I mean, anybody who's thought that deeply about that to say that you're in an interracial marriage and therefore. So speaking of interracial marriages, guess who's going to be the next president of the United States? You say Kamala Harris while she is in a interracial relationship? No! Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle potentially could be running for president of the United States in 2024.
She probably would be better than what we have now, so it's fine. I'm okay with her.
They say Meghan is the embodiment of the American dream. One day we may see Meghan become president.
Did she break up the royal family or something?
No, she didn't break. They're fine.
Oh, okay.
She just took Harry away.
Okay.
Or Harry left because of her. Megan is allegedly prepping in case Biden, who will be 82 in 2024, we'll see, decides not to run for a second term. Her biographer and longtime friend, Omid Scobie, has also claimed that the one-time actress, that's what she is. I didn't know. I didn't know what she was.
She was on this series called Suits. Stu was obsessed with it.
Okay. He said she has her eyes set on the U.S. presidency. The embodiment of the American dream. One day we may see Megan become president. Did you see the video meme where the bird takes a shit on her shoulder?
No.
And Oprah's just sitting there staring at her. Did you guys see that? Anybody y'all see that? She's just sitting there, and all of a sudden somebody superimposed bird crap falling on her shoulder. And then they're both just kind of silent, like they're trying to overlook it. She's adjusting her dress, and Oprah's just like, it's really funny.
I did not watch that interview,
Really
and I'm
funny.
so happy that I didn't, because I just from what I've heard, it was awful.
When's Oprah? I tweeted this morning. When is Oprah's interview with Tara Reid? That's what I want to know. When is Oprah going to find some real persecuted people and have an interview with them? That's what I want to know. When's Juanita Broderick going to sit down with Oprah? That's what I'd like to know. That's what I'd like to know.
Well, probably never.
Yeah. Oh. I mean, when's Paula Jones going to sit down with Oprah?
I'm sure Oprah's tried many times to get a hold of all of these women.
I got Paula
and they're
right
just not
here.
available.
I got Paula right here. Me and Paula talked about going to the inaugural ball together, and I was like, girl, hell no, I know you, Sue.
I'm not even going to take my chances.
I love you, Paula. But Nancy Pelosi, as I alluded to in the intro, blames the Biden border crisis on Trump and climate change. I'm going to just go ahead and tell you what she said. You know why the Hondurans are coming to America? Climate change. You know what climate change is doing? They don't have fields to plow anymore. There's nothing growing. This is the Beavis and Butthead crap that I'm talking about. This is the stupidity. I mean, there's got to be some, based on today's rules, there's got to be some inherent racism in that statement, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's all they're good for is to come and plow fields. Let me explain something to you guys. Let me just explain something to those of you who don't realize something. Those of you who keep saying, well, they do the jobs that y'all don't want to do. They do the jobs. No, that's because those are the jobs that are available to them because they're illegal and they can best get away with doing those manual labor jobs because they're illegal. If Joe Biden were to grant amnesty to these millions of illegals that are in the country, they won't do those jobs anymore. Now, legally, they can go out and take your damn job and leave the manual labor stuff behind. So guess what? Either way, it doesn't get done unless you pull your weight and get it done and do it. Listen. I come from a bricklaying family. My family still has a bricklaying business. My brother has a very successful bricklaying business. He is in competition with these Hispanic owned and operated companies. It's a very stiff competition. Why do they do it? Why do they get into these labor jobs? Because that's what's available. You grant them amnesty, they don't have to hide behind the paperwork anymore. Right. They don't have to hide from the paperwork anymore. And that your whole philosophy and your logic goes away when that happens. But anyway, that's the deal. She says, well, they just don't have any fields to plow. What the administration has inherited is a broken system at the border. And they are working to correct that in the children's interest, she told George Stephanopoulos. I'm so pleased that the president, as a temporary measure, has sent FEMA to the border in order to help facilitate the children going from the 72-hour issue into where they're cared for as they're transferred into family homes or homes that are safe for them to be. Yeah. Of course, we have to look to Central America, she said, Mexico and the rest, the corruption, the violence, all of that's so bad. My most recent trip to the Northern Triangle, that would be Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador. Thanks, Nance. You saw the impact of climate change. Mind you, these people are leaving because of the drought. They couldn't farm. They were seeking other ways to survive. There you go.
I mean, I hate to say it, Nance, that's not our problem.
Not my problem.
Like, we don't control the climate over in Honduras. That's not our problem. Sorry if you have no crops to plow. I don't really care.
I mean,
you're coming illegally into our country.
Crisis.
I don't care.
And listen, we don't belittle the human crisis that's going on. I've been to those countries many times. I understand the plight of those people. I have been there. I've spent much time there.
And I want them to just keep doing the jobs I don't want to do.
Yeah, that's of course exactly. But you give them amnesty, guess what?
Yeah,
we're going to rename that
Yeah, well,
pub.
Biden's the right president for that.
El Pundit.
It is going to be it's going to be a different name on that pub. It's going to be Mariano's Corner. They're wanting to rename the J. Edgar Hoover building, which is of course the FBI building. Why? Because why? Anything? Racism.
Racist.
Because he went after Martin Luther King Jr.
I love that. He went after Martin Luther King Jr. Yeah, we've got people like Ibram Kendi who say every day that the only way to address racism is just to be racist.
Just do it. It's like little Amethyst, the cartoon on the Cartoon Network said, don't be colorblind. See me as purple. I want you to see me as purple because I'm an alien. And the little white cartoon said, I don't understand your plight because I'm a white cartoon and you're a black cartoon. And I know the black cartoons have suffered more oppression than the white cartoons. I mean, God forbid the fact that somebody took the time to draw the black cartoon when they could have just ignored it altogether.
Right.
But they did it. You know why? Because we so damn woke.
Yep.
Hey, friends, what will you do if there's a sudden food shortage? And it's coming because it's going to be bad here before long. Way things are going, the future doesn't look too good. You know it, and I know it. That's why the smart thing to do right now is to stockpile high-quality emergency food that you can only get from My Patriot Supply, America's leader in survival food. Right now, say 50% off their popular 4-week food kit. Going to give you 2,000 calories a day. It'll stay fresh for up to 25 years. Yeah, you heard me right. Go to preparewithchad.com. You'll get the emergency food you need before the next emergency. You're going to get the 4-week food kit. It will arrive discreetly at your door in just a few days. Now's the time to prepare, folks. The economy not looking good. The dollar is going to pop in a bad way. Go to preparewithchad.com. Do it now. We'll be right back. If you think the border crisis at the southern border of Texas is bad now, you let Beto O'Rourke become governor of this state. You let Beto O'Rourke become the governor of this state. Let me tell you something. I'm going to take Greg Abbott 9 million times over Beto O'Rourke, if that's what it comes down to. No kidding. Bobby Francis. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that's just nonsensical. I mean, I'm just going to give you some of these headlines. Illegal immigrant surge at border overflows migrant facility. They're at 729% of its capacity. During a pandemic, no less. Some of the boys said that the conditions are so overcrowded they have to take turns sleeping on the floor. But yet, Trump was a mean tweeter. He was a mean tweeter, and this is all his fault, right? We didn't talk about this, but now they got to look back and blame Trump, right? I was listening to the Progress channel this morning. I like to listen to the libs. All they can talk about is Trump, how mean he was, how bad he was, what a grifter he was, how narcissistic he is, how he was a complainer in chief. They say all these things, how he's just a con man, a lifelong con man, and a thief and a criminal. He needs to be indicted. They're talking about the Trump indictment and about how it's happening in New York and Georgia and all these places. And so I'm listening to all this stuff. It's like, can y'all maybe say something that Joe Biden's doing right? I mean, you're the Progress channel. Can you praise Joe Biden? Let's talk about what he's doing correctly. No, 729% is where they're operating in these facilities. Yeah, it's insane. What was that article right there? Top Biden nominee claims taxpayer-funded abortion is necessary for racial justice. Everybody's got to be able to get their abortions. Right? Everybody's got to be able to do it. You can't just be those privileged white folks that go out there and kill their babies. We got to make sure minorities can do it too.
We got to tie it back into the racist too.
Well, they can, and they can do it a lot easier. They can walk in because they put the abortion clinics in the damn neighborhoods.
They do. 85% of Planned Parenthoods are within walking distance of an urban community. That's a fact.
Super convenient.
Yeah, and it is. The numbers are basically genocidal when you consider minorities that are getting abortions. So this is the kind of asinine nonsense that we have. God, I'd love to spend an hour just talking about that.
You would think all us racist white people would be building 10 times as many abortion clinics if that
you would
was the
think
case.
So. I mean, that's exactly what Margaret Sanger had in mind when she created Planned Parenthood.
100%.
But yeah. I'm gonna have to come back to some of those. It's just there's so much stuff.
Yeah, we don't have enough time for you to really go off and elaborate. Go savage on these dumb stories.
Let me tell you something. I want you to start paying attention to Fauci when he gives an interview. The guy is the pressure's getting to him because he can't remember what he lied about last time. He can't remember what he flip-flopped on. He doesn't know what he believes. This guy just wants to be in the limelight, and he's starting to sweat. You can physically see him kind of tremble and sweat,
like beating
in some of these interviews, because you can see his brain working, because he's like, shit, what did I say yesterday? I don't know what I said yesterday. So let me just see if I can remember. Like they ask him, do you think people will be able to get married this year? Well, I can't propose a date. So it makes it hard for wedding planning, guys.
I think everybody quit listening to him a long time ago.
No, that's the problem. There's too many morons that do. They think, he's just amazing.
Right, and also,
he's wonderful.
Tons of people got married last year, too. They did get married during the pandemic.
Get married.
Yeah, it spread more than the COVID.
Hey! That's a super spreader event.
Yeah, baby.
I think we ought to have a bunch of super spreader events.
Well, y'all have been doing that the whole time.
I'm laughing about a cartoon that I saw this week, and I can't tell it on the show.
Why?
Can't tell it on the show.
You can't clean it up? You can't make it G?
No. Did you see the one where the sperm are talking to each other?
Oh, no.
And it goes, the one sperm says to the other sperm says, I can't wait to grow up and be a Biden supporter like my dad. And the other sperm says, bruh, we're in a dude's butthole.
I saw that.
Oh, my God.
Edit it out if you have to, Candace. That's freaking funny, dude. I have laughed at that. Oh my God, you're homophobic. Okay. Let me tell you how homophobic I am. Friend of mine, I won't say who, somebody that works with me, is gay. He called me the other day and he said, I'm in love. I am in love.
I found the one.
And I don't think, he's like, I understand why you guys just go crazy over these women and just are willing to do anything for women. He goes, I finally found somebody. He said, I'm not sure he's that interested in me. Can we FaceTime one another and you just tell him how great I am? He said, we're down here in South Florida. We're at a resort. And he said, could you just tell him, kind of like talk me up a little bit? So I had to spend the next 10 minutes FaceTiming my friend and his gay friend, his lover, to try to convince him that he was a good guy and they should, anyway. That's how much of a homophobe I am.
And I'm Chad, and I approve this message.
Paid for, Chad Prather, for governor 2022. I'm Chad Prather, and I approve this message. Oh, man. But anyway, Fauci points to COVID surge in Europe as warning against lifting U.S. restrictions right now. Here's an interesting article from the Wall Street Journal. Texas Governor Greg Abbott announced last week that his state was ending its mask mandate and business capacity limits. While Democrats and many public health officials denounced the move, ample data now exists to demonstrate that the benefits of stringent measures aren't worth the costs. We've talked about this.
Well, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, this author says a year ago I publicly advocated lockdowns because they seemed prudent. Given that we didn't know the virus and its effects, but locking society down has become the default option of governments all over the world, regardless of cost. More than a year after the pandemic began, vaccination is underway in Europe and the U.S., yet stringent restrictions are still in place on both sides of the Atlantic. He says, this time last year, we had no idea how difficult it would be to control the virus. Given how fast it's been spreading, people made the reasonable assumption that most of the population would be infected in a few weeks unless we somehow reduce transmission. Projections by the Imperial College COVID-19 response team in London projected that more than 2 million Americans would die in a few months. A lockdown would cut transmission, and while it couldn't prevent all infections, it would keep the hospitals from being overwhelmed. It would flatten the curve. We all remembered that. A year later, we remember that. We have since learned that the virus never spreads exponentially for very long, even without stringent restrictions. The epidemic always recedes well before herd immunity has been reached. As I argue in a report for the Center for the Study for Partisanship and Ideology, people are scared and change their behavior as hospitalizations and deaths increase. This, in turn, reduces transmission. There you go. I mean, instead, what we're seeing is a 300% rise in northeastern United States. We talked about this last week in teenagers doing self-harm. 3 times of anxiety problems, 4 times the depression problems, the issues that are going on. The suicides are skyrocketing, depression skyrocketing. Lockdowns don't work. But whatever, Fauci wants to keep you locked down, keep you in front of the TV. He keeps you locked down in front of the TV so you can see his ugly ass on TV all day, every day.
And you can keep believing all this nonsense and not wasting your life away. You're going to shrivel up like a prune and die.
We were on an airplane this morning. Of course, everybody has to wear a mask and stuff on the airplane. They're real strict. They're going around making sure people putting masks up. But the big 400-pound dude sitting in the middle seat, sitting on the two women next to him, that was okay. He had raised both the armrests up.
God.
Listen, if you're fat, don't sit in the middle seat.
No. Tony was pissed.
I bet Tony was pissed.
Because she was sitting under him.
Spreading more than the COVID, baby.
Yep.
It's man spreading. What he was doing. He was a man super spreader.
I think he was about to have a heart attack, too.
Well, you know what? A man can dream.
I told her, I said, at least he'd stop moving.
But you may never get out from under him.
Yeah.
Are you under a bookcase or just ignoring my calls? LA County judge authorizes cutting off restaurants' electricity for trying to survive the pandemic. There you go. You're going to keep trying to keep your business open, or just shut your power off.
Exactly.
How about that?
We're just going to keep one-upping you so you fail.
We have accepted these draconian measures with zero accountability and with zero idea of how to make it end. And you know what? Now, here's what's happened. And I've said this for a year. These governors became little dictators. These mayors became little dictators, right? Because Congress and the Senate, and everybody gave them this power. Now you have these business owners that are becoming little dictators. Walk into the pharmacy. Walk into a CVS. Now, if I'm going into a place like that right now, I will put a mask on willingly because God only knows what's in there anyway, that you're breathing these sick people that are waiting on their drugs. Mm-hmm. You know, that's it. But you go in there, that dude will chase you through the aisles of CVS till you mask up. I mean, they are coming after you.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's the same. I had a dude the other day, I walked into a restaurant, and he was like, "You've got to put your mask on." And I was like, "Well, let me get it out of my pocket." "Sir, don't take another step without putting your mask on." And I turned around and said, "You're still effing talking to me, dude. It takes me a second to get it out of my pocket."
I would have sneezed right in his face.
And I left. I'm like, I'm trying to be nice to you.
I can't.
Now shut the F up and get out of my ear, you little pinhead. Paid for by Chad Prather, 2022 for governor. I'm Chad Prather, and I approve this effing message. And they say I don't get in front of the media. I'll be right back. So the U.S. Army is considering reversing gender-neutral physical tests. You know why? Because women can't keep up with the men.
Wow!
Holy
what a revolution!
Revelation, baby. So they're like, hey, well, what do you know? 54% of the women fail the test, while only 7% of the men failed it. Is this the world we're living in? Yep. Stop spinning so I can get off.
Yeah, this is just the worst. This is the worst ride ever. That can be said for what's going to happen with women's sports. Women are going to constantly lose on their teams when you're throwing boys that want to be girls on their teams.
But they're doing everything they can to normalize this to make it more prevalent for the future. That's the deal. I'm telling you, there's an agenda at hand.
Yeah.
That's why they're trying to, my baby is gay. Oh, my 3-year-old needs a gender reassignment. This is why there's an agenda that is so insidious and so gross that people, I don't even want to say it. I don't even want to go into it. I don't have time to. But I'm telling you, it's an ugly agenda, and they're trying to normalize all of this.
That's freaking child abuse.
Been trying to do it forever.
Normalize it and then make us normal people out to be the bad people. Yeah. We're bad.
Listen, my name is Chad Prather, and I approve this effing message. Prather2022.com. It's gonna be a weird run, but I ain't gonna play according to the cult's rules. I can tell you that.
Nope.
Go to watchchad.com. It's where all the fun stuff is. Party Foul Nation. Lisa Page made me do it. Be sure to subscribe to BlazeTV.com. Use code CPS. And guess what? We're gonna be right back here in Studio 22 tomorrow night. Love y'all. God bless. Bye.